Hey everybody, it's me, prominent space vampire Count Vargelon, with Winds of Winter spoilers. We don't need no stinking Winds of Winter spoilers. The vodcast. Pretty big week here. Found out a couple of things. Don't know if any of it's accurate, but I'll just break out the list. First off, after watching last week's show, someone told me that I shouldn't have complained about Roose Bolton letting Ramsay kill his wife and son, because there's a line in the book where Roose is talking to Theon and opines that Ramsay will no doubt kill any children he has because Ramsay's a monster. And here's the thing. I didn't quite believe that in the book because, again, it's Roose talking to Theon, for whom he has contempt. And he also talks in the same speech about just how much he hates Ramsay. So it's not so much that I feel like he would straight up murder his son, the kinslaying thing, but I just feel like the character would not put Ramsay in a position where he would be able to murder his other children. All right, here's the big one. I saw a reference in passing to Brienne meeting Tormund Giantsbane. If that did happen on the show, that means that Sansa, who was with Brienne, has run into Jon, who was with Tormund. I can't stress how far off the rails that would take storytelling if that happened. Here's the thing. Back in book 1, at the end of the book, the 6 Stark children are completely separated. They are all in completely different locations. So if you don't count Rickon, then at the end of book 1, all 5 Stark children are completely separated, and that's the diaspora that gets the story going, right? And you can't just start bringing the characters back together in book 6. If they're going to come back together at all, which, one of them's dead, so I don't know how likely, and the other one, by the way, is surgically attached to a tree. I don't really see it plausible as them all getting back together, but if any of them are to reunite at all, you gotta save that for the end of the story, don't you? Anyway, so if that happened on the show, I don't think it spoiled Winds of Winter, because I don't think George Martin is such an idiot of a writer to start reuniting Starks at this point in the story. One other thing I heard a reference to, and I don't know how accurate this is, because it was on a comedy podcast, but I'll mention it anyway. You remember in the end of Dance of Dragons, there's the scene in the Kevin chapter where they're talking about Robert Strong and how there's people whispering behind the scenes that they don't really trust Robert Strong and they're weirded out and they think he might be the Mountain, but everyone's too freaked out about him to address it. And it's a pretty good scene. Apparently, the way they have chosen to recreate that on the show, that sentiment and that mood in King's Landing, is to have a scene where Pycelle loudly complains about what a creepy monster Robert Strong is, and then does a, "He's standing right behind me, isn't he?" sequence. So, if that happened on the show, really, isn't that all you need to show the level of craft going into the books as opposed to going into the adaptation? If you went from rumors and whispers to a broad Abbott and Costello comedy scene, that would be the nail in the coffin of what this show is and what it's trying to do. All right, so that was my week in avoiding Game of Thrones spoilers. A lot of spoilers for the show, but I don't think a lot of spoilers for the book. I think that they're not telling me anything I didn't already know. I'm a little worried because I've also heard that Bran is doing some time traveling in that tree now. So, Tower of Joy coming up, and that's going to be tempting to watch. Oof. So that's been this week in The Whole World Wants to Talk About Game of Thrones, and It's Driving Me Crazy cast. Until next time, I've been prominent space vampire Count Vargelon. Thanks for watching.